if you're struggling to get lean, it is very likely that one or multiple of the habits I'm gonna share in this video are holding you back. And here's the truth. Even if I had some kind of magic wand that could give you the lean physique you want tomorrow, without addressing these bad habits and replacing them with healthy ones, you wouldn't be able to keep that physique for long. It would be only a matter of time until you revert back and lose it all. And the first habit I want to address here is for those of you who have an all-in mentality when it comes to reaching your goals. And this is an interesting one because going all in is something most people would consider a good thing. The more motivation, the better. The harder you go, the better the results. But in reality, this is a double-edged sword because with an all-in mentality usually comes an all-out mentality. And what I often see are guys who are very consistent and borderline perfect for a period of time. For example, they're gonna go all in for the first 5 days of the week. They're gonna track every calorie, hit every macro down to a gram, extra sets in the gym, hit the like button on my videos. They're doing 15,000 steps per day. They're essentially overachieving. But then the weekend comes, and when they fall off a lot. So it's either they're all in or they're all out. The extreme mentality goes both ways. And then all that progress they made while being quote unquote perfect gets canceled out. And what a lot of people seem to forget is that you don't need to make every day perfect to get great results. There's almost a point of diminishing returns where after a while, you're better off focusing on making the bad days less bad rather than trying to turn the already good days into perfect days. And the weekend itself doesn't have to be perfect for you to get lean. Just don't want to let it turn into a free-for-all. Even if you ate maintenance calories for those 2 days and you were in a calorie deficit for the previous 5 days, you're good to go. You're still on track. Even if you screwed up badly for lunch, you still have plenty of opportunity to minimize the damage for the rest of the day. The bottom line is, if you find yourself stuck in a hole, stop digging. Focus on becoming better at recovering and bouncing back after you make that first mistake. Don't let that one bad meal define the entire day. I know a lot of people who will self-rationalize. They're going to say, well, I already screwed up, so it doesn't matter anymore. But it does matter. You don't want to let that bad choice get momentum. Make the next choice a healthy choice. And that's how you learn to conquer the all or nothing mentality. It's how you master consistency instead of being stuck in this all in, all out mentality, spinning your wheels for years. And I'm not saying you can't go hard at this from time to time to challenge yourself and be a little bit more strict, but it should never come at the expense of long-term consistency. Long-term consistency is king. Now, the second habit I see ruin a lot of people's results is something I call diminishing discipline in the evening. And the scenario usually goes like this. The day is going well. You're paying attention to your calories and food choices. You maybe did a little bit of fasting in the morning. You did your steps, did your workout, came back home. You get a good, healthy dinner with a decent amount of protein and fiber. Macros look good for the day. Calories look good for the day. And if you just kept it like that, you'd be seeing great results. But then about an hour or two after dinner, you start feeling a little bit more tired. And then there's that urge to grab something extra. And maybe the first time you do this, it's just an extra 100 calories. It's a small treat. Not a big deal, you're still on track, everything is fine. But as you repeat this little snack, your body's slowly getting trained to expect food at that time. And soon, you start getting a signal to grab a treat after dinner every day. And so this little habit that it grew out of nowhere and was almost invisible starts ruining your progress. Essentially, you find yourself in a situation where you're good for 90-95% of the day just to scrub the entire thing in that little time window after dinner and before bedtime. And what started as a very innocent behavior eventually escalated into a problem. This is especially true for nutrition habits during a calorie deficit. One innocent protein bar can easily turn into 2 to 3. One handful of nuts between meals as a little snack can turn into more. And this is why we all have to be a lot more mindful which behaviors we allow to become daily habits, because the compounding effect of habits over time works both ways. Minor bad habits that might have not been an issue at first can become a problem if we let them grow. The same way as if we're focusing on getting 1% better every day and slowly increasing our step count, get a little bit more protein, a little bit more calorie consistency, a little bit more progressive overload, eventually we can leverage the power of that compounding effect to dramatically improve our own results. Now, the third habit that's causing so many people to struggle with losing body fat and getting lean is something I call pushing the clock forward. And look, I get it. As a father to a young baby, I understand that we all want a little bit more of quote unquote me time. And the common way to get that is at night. No one else is awake. You finally have a moment for yourself. But what usually starts is a harmless 20 minutes or 30 minutes of delaying bedtime time, as days go on, becomes much more. Without knowing it, you slowly accumulate sleep debt to a point where you're consistently sleep deprived. And the thing is, if this was just one night of 3 hours of sleep, you would instantly feel that and you would eventually crash and get more sleep. But because it happens so gradually, most people don't even notice it. They can cope with that amount of low level sleep deprivation, especially when coffee is involved, and still function. But they're not functioning at their best. And this is often why the process of losing body fat gets so difficult. It's why you're getting more cravings and hunger. It's why you're struggling to make good food choices. It's why it's so difficult to be consistent with calories and why you end up overeating so often. At the same time, training performance suffers too. You keep hitting plateaus in the gym and you're unable to recover. And you can end up losing more muscle in a calorie deficit or storing more body fat if you're trying to lean bulk. So across the board, you could be getting worse results and don't even know why. And it's a pretty easy fix where you just simply need to get a little bit more sleep and pay off that sleep debt, but most people are not paying attention to it because this low level sleep deprivation is so subtle. And changing habits like this is hard. I love that Samuel Johnson quote where he said the chains of habit are too weak to be felt until they're too strong to be broken. And that's basically what's happening. And how some of these behaviors are holding you back won't always be as obvious. It's very subtle. And so if you want to get ahead and if you want to change your lifestyle, you want to break through a plateau, finally master consistency, I recommend starting with a habit audit. Grab a piece of paper or put a new note on your phone. Think about your typical day. What are your current habits? Think about your week. What's the difference between good days and bad days? What patterns are you noticing? Are you mostly failing in the morning, early afternoon, late afternoon? Is it the evening? Is it just the weekends? The first step to improving is to detect which bad habits are holding you back. When are you struggling? When you're doing well? You need to know your own routine because by definition, the physique you have right now is a byproduct of your existing habits and your current lifestyle. If you want to change that physique, you need to change your habits and your lifestyle. In a way, you have to reinvent yourself. I can't promise it will be easy, but I can promise that it will be worth it. Every ounce of effort you invest in understanding your own behavior, how to build healthy habits, how to break unhealthy habits, how to be more consistent will pay off big time. And if you're interested in coaching, getting accountability, and having me guide you on your fitness journey, the link for coaching is in the description below. So check that out. Also, make sure to subscribe to the channel, and I'm going to see you in the next video.